Good morning, dear students. So let's start the last chapter in your book, that is the natural regions of the world. And already now if you find here in this book, there are in your syllabus 9 natural regions are given, out of which 6 have been removed. So you have to study only 3 natural regions, that is the Equatorial Region and tropical deserts and tropical monsoon. So let's start here, and I will take the 2 sessions to complete these 3 topics. So first of all, let's start here the natural regions of the world. Now before we start this chapter, I would like to just give you one introduction. Now here first of all, natural regions usually are known as the climatic regions. So usually it is not a natural region, it is a climatic region. And before we start this climatic regions, first of all let's see about the difference between the climate and weather. Now usually you have studied in your previous classes about that weather means that the overall climatic condition of the atmosphere for a short period of time. So you can find in just one day the weather can be different in the different times, in the morning, in the noon and the evening and in the night, and we have every day a different type of weather. Well, it's not that every day we will going to experience only these 4 types of weather conditions, because weather can change anytime. Sometimes it just starts, comes a very heavy rainfall and the weather gets changed. Well, so the weather usually can be described as the climatic condition for a short period of time. So what is the climate? Now when we see about the climate and you look in your book, it is given there that the climate actually is a condition of weather, that is of temperature and rainfall for a specific longer period of time. And usually it is taken of about several decades, because it has been seen that after 30 years, that is after 3 and 4 decades, there is a slight change in climate can be seen in every part of the world. So usually the climate can be defined as the average weather condition of temperature and rainfall at a specific place or region over a period of several decades, that is about 30 years. Well, now on this climate, if you find the different regions, different parts of the world experience different sets of climate, different types of climate, and this is how there comes the term climatic region. Now which is in your book given as a natural region. So let's see what is the climatic region that is given in your book, and you can underline it. It is defined here as the Earth's surface, means it is defined as the area of the Earth's surface over which an approximately homogeneous set of climatic condition is produced by the combined effort of a number of climatic controls. Now what is the homogeneous set of climatic condition? So usually if you find here, the climatic regions actually are the regions in which a homogeneous set of climatic conditions can be seen. Example, if you see in the desert, usually the deserts, you will find which type of things? Deserts usually are very dry, rainfall is very scanty, and because of the very scanty rainfall, there is no vegetation, and as there is no vegetation, so usually the clouds, they don't stay there and just cross in this region, so sky is clear, so this region receives very intense heating, so the temperature is very high, and because of this high temperature and very scanty rainfall, you can't find any vegetation. So this is a very natural thing you can see in the desert. Same way actually all the climatic region, they are having a homogeneous set of climatic controls. Climatic control means different elements of climate. What are the elements? Example, temperature, rainfall, humidity, wind, then condition of the sun, sunrise or maybe cloudy or maybe what is the right. Then beside this there are so many other things are also there, right, which affect or to constitute a climate. So if you find in your book, usually the whole world is divided into 11 climatic regions, and in your book there is one figure 18.1, and in that figure if you see on equator you will see there is a equatorial type of climate. Then just above equator there is a tropical region, and the tropical region you just open the book there as I am explaining you, because without looking the book you will not understand what I am telling you. Some things will be difficult for you. So look here. Now if you see this figure, in the tropical region again is divided into 3 climatic regions. On the western side you will find the hot desert, central part hot grasslands, on the eastern margin tropical monsoon type of climate. Above the tropical region there is a temperate region, and temperate region again is divided into warm temperate and cool temperate region. So first there is a warm temperate, lies between 30° north and 45° north, and also in the southern hemisphere. So in this region if you find on the first of all in the western margin there lies a Mediterranean type of climate. In the central part there lies temperate grasslands, and on the eastern margin which experience cool oceanic type of climate. Now this biggest region as it lies in China, so it is also known as China type of climate, that is given in your book. Eastern margin or China type is given there in your book in the diagram. And just above the warm temperate region there lies the cool temperate region between 45° north and 66° north latitude. Again on the western margin you will find British type of climate, right. Now this British type of climate, why it is named after Britain? Because Great Britain experienced a very unique type of climate, and this type of climate is called British type of climate. Now this type of climate is also found in many different parts of the world, like in Australia also, in New Zealand also, in South America, North America, in South Africa, but these regions are very small. So this is the biggest region, that is Great Britain, and the western coastal region of Europe experience British type of climate. Next, in the central part you will find in Russia there is a Siberia. That whole region is known as Siberia, covered with the dense coniferous forest. Now usually the coniferous forest is also known as taiga region or taiga climate. So here the taiga type of climate, that is all of you have studied in the primary class. Taiga region is a region which is covered with the coniferous forest, means all the trees are coniferous trees. Well, so here this biggest taiga region found in Siberia in Russia, and on its name this type of climatic regions are also known as the Siberian type of climate. Well, and on the eastern margin you will see there is an eastern margin, that is Laurentian type of climate, and then above 66.5° north there lies tundra or polar type of climatic region. So these are the 11 climatic regions, means the whole which is found in different parts of our earth, the whole earth. But in your syllabus 9 were given, out of 9, 6 have been removed. So you are going to study only 3 climatic regions. And so let's start here the Equatorial Region first of all. So here open your book, all of you, and in your book if you see here this equatorial regions, they are also known by some different names like tropical wet climate or tropical rainforest climate. So they are also known as first of all we are going to see about the Equatorial Region. That is also known as what thing? They are also known as tropical wet climate. Or rainforest climate. So this question can be asked, what are the, by other name the equatorial regions are also known? So the answer is the tropical wet climate or rainforest climate. So first of all, let's see here about the location. Now there is one map is also given. You just look the map also as I will describe this. Figure 18.2. This world map shows you the different regions of the equatorial region in the world. And if you see here, it is shown with the green color. So you can find first of all in South America, if you see, there is the Amazon lowland, then the coastal plains of Colombia. In Africa, there is the Congo Basin. Congo Basin known as the Zaire Basin, because the Congo River now at present we call it Zaire River. So this is the old name, Congo River or Congo Basin. Now recently at present we call it Zaire River, and basin is called Zaire Basin. So here the whole Zaire Basin and the West Africa experience this type of climate. Then in Asia you will find the islands of Malaysia and Indonesia also experience the same type of climate. So very specifically we can find these three continents in South America, Africa and in Asia. These regions are found. So first of all, the location, if you find, these regions lies between 5 degree north and 5 degree south latitude, means on the equator, both sides of 5 degree north and 5 degree south. So this is a belt. Now region only we have seen the Amazon Basin. Second is the coastal area of the Colombia. Then in Africa there are the countries like Guinea Coast, there is a countries Togo, right? There is a New Guinea, right? Ghana, and the Congo, Zaire country name is also Congo. So this Republic of Congo. So this whole region you will find there is the Congo Basin. You experience the equatorial type of climate. Then the Malaysia, Indonesia, then even the Philippines island also lies in this region. So this is the region. Now first of all, let's see about the temperature. So here usually you will find the temperature, usually the average monthly temperature experienced here is 18 degrees centigrade. However, in the different places, this temperature can be recorded between 24 degrees centigrade to 28 degrees centigrade. So one thing if you see here, though this equatorial region receives the maximum insolation, but the temperature never goes beyond 30 degrees centigrade. So it just stays between 24 and 28. It doesn't mean it is a cold, right? It is a cold temperature. No, it is very hot. How it is hot? Because this region receives rainfall every day and humidity is very high. Because high humidity, and as the clouds covers the sky, rainfall occurs every day, and most of the time the clouds covering the sky, and this is why they don't allow the temperature to just becomes very high, right? Now here the pressure and wind, if you find here, this region usually is categorized by the low pressure region, that is the doldrum. So this is low pressure belt is found here. Now next is the precipitation. Precipitation means rainfall. So usually this region receives very heavy rainfall, and the rainfall is actually around 200 centimeter rainfall, the average annual rainfall, and some area receives even more than 200 centimeter rainfall. Well, but one important thing this region experiences is every afternoon, means after 3 o'clock, around 3 and 4 o'clock, what happens? Heavy rainfall occurs around every day, almost every day throughout the year. So only one season. Now this region doesn't receive any season. Now, so let's see here the characteristic features of the equatorial type of climate. So the first characteristic is that this region do not receive any rain, any season. So the whole year, only one type of season, that is rainy season. Why? Because rainfall occurs every day. Next is the average temperature here doesn't becomes very high, neither it becomes very cold. So it stays around 26 degrees centigrade, right? Maybe below or less, low or upper, higher, but it just stays same temperature. Now here, if you find here the annual range of temperature, that is very less, means there is no change of season. Like in India, you will find month of May is the hottest month average temperature is about 42. Now in the month of January is the coldest month, and average temperature is about 15. So the difference between the coldest month, that is 15, and the hottest month, that is average temperature is 42. So you will find how much it is. So it is about more than 27 or 20, 25, more than 25 degrees centigrade temperature. So this difference is known as annual range of temperature. So because there is no change of season occurs here in this region, so the annual range will find only 3 degrees centigrade. Next is the diurnal range. Now what is the meaning of diurnal range? The difference between the maximum and the minimum temperature of a day is known as diurnal range of temperature or daily range of temperature. So if you find here, this daily range of temperature is about 6 degrees centigrade to 8 degrees centigrade. Now this region experiences torrential rainfall. Now when we talk about heavy torrential rainfall or maybe torrential downpour, so what is the meaning of the word torrential? When the rainfall occurs, means very heavy rainfall occurs accompanied with lightning and thunder, this type of rainfall is known as torrential rainfall. So here this region receives very heavy rainfall accompanied with the lightning and thunder. That's very common. Then because rainfall occurs every day, so humidity also is very high. So these are some characteristic features of the equatorial type of climate. Now let's move to the natural vegetation. Now as the temperature is so high, another is rainfall also. This region receives very heavy rainfall. This is why this encourages a very dense growth of natural vegetation. In fact, if you see the figure 18.5, that shows you a very clear picture. You will find here, there are the trees are kept into different categories. There are the tall emergent trees. Then next is the dense canopy, means the shorter tree but they have very dense. Next the short trees. Under these trees there are the short trees. Under these short trees there are the shrubs are found, and even under these shrubs there are the herbs are found. The small herbs and that is bushes are not found, but herbs and epiphytes, the plants which just creeps climb up the trees. So usually they just forms a total canopy. Canopy means they just covers the whole forest, and that's why inside the forest it is very dark, right? And because of this dense forest, only 1% sunlight can reach inside the forest. Wherever the trees are not there, only those places. So this is why these forests are very difficult to just go through it. That's why it's very difficult for the human beings to go through these forests. Well, so here another characteristic you will find about the trees, because another first thing, the trees are very tall, right? And they are having a very broad leaves. Now, why they are having the broad leaves? Because this region receives very heavy rainfall, and so to just for the transpiration, because these trees need more transpiration, right? So they are having broad leaves. So broad leaves. Another thing, these forests are evergreen forest. Now when we talk about evergreen forest, it doesn't mean that these trees, they just stays, the leaves stays evergreen throughout the year, or these trees don't shed their leaves. These trees also shed their leaves, but they don't shed at once, or you can say together. So time to time the leaves are shed, but the trees stays evergreen. Okay, now next is now because the very heavy rainfall occurs here, so the condition under the forest means the ground is very swampy. Many places water logging can be seen there, and it's very difficult because these forests are very dense, dark and very swampy, and that's why they just provide the breeding ground for large number of species of the animals, especially reptiles, birds, then the different types of animal which live on the trees, right? Insects. So that's why they are also very important. large number of species are found in these forests. That's why the equatorial forest of the Congo, Madagascar island, right, Amazon basin, the whole Amazon basin, there are large number of species of animals which are still undiscovered. Many of them still, the scientists, the people, still they are discovering new species of the animal, reptiles, insects. Now these tropical evergreen forests, they are known for the very valuable trees. The trees actually are having very valuable timber, and the wood of these trees, like the trees like mahogany, ebony, rosewood, green heart, they are very valuable trees, and the wood means that timber is very expensive, used for making the furnitures. And now here let's see about the human adaptation. Now in this forest of Africa, in the Congo Basin, there are one tribal people are found known as pygmies. Now these pygmies are very short height, right, and the weight of just 1 meter height, very short people, and their weight is also only just about 40 kgs, right. Even the adult male I am taking, right, they don't found as a very long, only 1 meter height, and because they have just adapted themselves to live in this condition, so usually they just make the tree house, they live in the trees, right, making house there, and they have adapted themselves usually. Mostly their living is totally dependent upon the hunting and gathering the herbs and the things which is found in the forest. Then in Malaysia, what happened in the Malaysia? You will see in the book there, Life in Malaysia. So in Malaysia and Indonesia also, in the medieval period, it was all covered with the dense forest. But the equatorial forest or regions are very favorable for one thing, rubber plantation. And in the 18th century, the Britishers, they were trying to find some areas where the rubber can be planted, because during the 18th century and 19th century, there was a great demand of natural rubber. So here in Malaysia and Indonesia, these Britishers have cut all the forest region, and they have just grown there the rubber plantation, and still large rubber plantations are found here in Malaysia and Indonesia. And here the people were taken from India, Sri Lanka, Bangladesh to work in these farmlands, in these rubber states. And as still after these countries, Indonesia and Malaysia, when they got the independence, but the people still are living here, and still you can find large number of people from Indian origin, Indian people living in these countries, Malaysia and Indonesia. Well, and still these rubber states are found here, but now these rubber states, they are being run by the government. So here the life in Malaysia and Indonesia is totally different, and Malaysia and Indonesia together, they produce about 45% of natural rubber of the world. Now this natural rubber is getting a competition with the synthetic rubber. Well, that's why they don't have so much demand, but still there are some things which need the natural rubber, and still Malaysia and Indonesia, they just produce that natural rubber, and still it is exported from there. Well, so this is about this equatorial region, and next session we will start the tropical deserts and tropical monsoon regions. So today this much only. So let me just tell you about the question also, the question for the examination in the annual examination. Now in the annual examination this time the question is not being sent by the board, so we have reduced the syllabus. So the portion will be from chapter 9 to chapter 18. In chapter 9, that is weathering and denudation, already the denudation part has been removed, so it will be not asked. So only weathering you have to study. Denudation, that is work of river and work of the wind, don't have to prepare. So in weathering, only weathering. Then the chapter 10 is tides and ocean currents. Chapter 11, composition and structure of the atmosphere. Chapter 12 is insolation. Chapter 13 is atmospheric pressure and winds. Chapter 14 is humidity. Chapter 15, 16 and 17 is about the pollution. Chapter 18 is natural region of the world. In natural region also, only 3 natural regions will be there in your syllabus. 6 already have been removed. So in your syllabus you have to study only Equatorial region. Then tropical deserts and tropical monsoon. Only these 3 climatic regions. So this is a portion for your examination. Pattern will be the same as you are getting the question paper. That will be the same pattern. And another thing, all the questions will be asked from the exercise given there at the back of the book. So no descriptive question, but you just find out the answer because notes already I have given you. So already you will get the answer from the notes, not from the notes, then in the book it is given. And if you are having any queries, come to school, and in the classes still we are running the classes, so you can ask me all your queries, and still I am just solving the problems as the students are asking us the problems. So I just motivate you, right, and encourage you to come to the school, right? Then only if you are having any problem just sitting at the house, your problem can't be solved. So you come to school and get the problem solved in all the subjects. So all the best.